Yo, it's your boy Dctree from Dctree-Nation.com, where we cover hoops and heroes. And they were talking hoops. Gregg Popovich, a legend when it comes to champions. Not so much at developing young talent. And before you laugh me out the building, just hear me out. Great at coaching champions, not so much with young players. But before I jump too deep into it, if you like my content, please sub to the channel. Okay, first off, I want to say, Gregg Popovich is a legend, a great coach. But obviously this year, he's struggling a little bit with the young talent. So let's take a look at Gregg Popovich's resume, so to speak. Gregg Popovich did a hell of a good job with 3 awesome, once-in-a-lifetime type players. And I'm not saying that he was lucky. I'm not gonna go that far. He had a lot to do with their success. But a lot of the philosophies he built were based on having these once-in-a-lifetime type talents. Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. These are once-in-a-lifetime type guys. And he was able to put weaker players around them and make them overachieve. So he immediately got the tag as a great coach, which he is still a great coach. But I can't remember, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I can't remember a time where Gregg Popovich had a cast of young players like this. Derek White, Murray, Lonnie Walker, and he actually developed them well. Because if you look at the Spurs' history, they always had Tim Duncan or Manu or Tony as the anchor, where Popovich could kind of get away with some of these lackluster developmental strategies. He doesn't really develop good talent. If you think about it, Bertans, he goes to another team, gets more minutes, flourishes. Even Bellinelli, when he left the Spurs the first time, flourished as a player. He comes back, he's suddenly sucking again. Now, that does have a lot to do with his age. And Gregg Popovich is definitely giving him a chance. But it wasn't because he developed in the Spurs system. Not saying he was a spring chicken or anything, but you get the point I'm trying to make. And now, this season, if you look at the Spurs, Popovich in these minutes, man, in these rotations, they're so bizarre. They're so bizarre. Like, Lonnie Walker is still playing only 10 minutes a game on average. Like, come on. The season is drowning. Why is he not playing more? Pirtle was, defensively energetic and there, and he's barely playing. He's not in the starting lineup. It's just like, Carroll's not playing at all. It's just so bizarre to me that he continuously plays players that are inept defensively and gets angry when we suck defensively. And that's the thing that just trips me out. And it hit me, he's just not used to having young talent. He's not used to giving the reins over to young talent, giving, people a chance to develop and make mistakes, play 35 minutes a game. What other team would not play Lonnie Walker a gang of minutes? Just think about that. Losing team now. We're a losing team. We're below 500. So technically we're a losing team. What losing team will have a talent like Lonnie Walker only playing 10 minutes? I'll wait. Just think about it. I'll wait. Not many. And it hit me, it's just Gregg Popovich is not used to having young talent. And it's an issue. It is becoming more and more of an issue. Now, it's not the only reason the Spurs are losing. Don't get me wrong. But it's a big factor. It's definitely a big factor. And I can hear what you're saying. What about Tony Parker? He was 19 years old when he started for the Spurs. I get that, and I understand that, and I was a fan when that happened, and I was happy to see that, but that was rather rare, guys. That was hella rare. Tony Parker was rare for so many reasons. One, because the Spurs sucked so bad at the point guard, really Popovich had no choice but to play this guy if you really watch Spurs basketball. Second, Tony Parker, he doesn't get enough credit for being incredibly humble. Gregg Popovich used to rip and embarrass this man to shreds on a daily basis on national TV in front of people. And Tony Parker, for the most part, took it. You're not going to get that type of validity from a player in today's NBA. They're not going to handle that. They're not going to take that. That's probably why we lost Kawhi. Probably why we're on the track of, having issues with Lonnie. Lonnie's probably pissed as it is. He never gets to play. So, I mean, things have changed. And then on that team, Tim Duncan still was the anchor. Now we're on a team that's struggling, that doesn't have an identity, that doesn't have a superstar talent. You have to run with these young guys. You have to let these young guys take over. And we don't have an identity. That's one of the huge issues with the team. And I'm not putting this all on Pop because LaMarcus is slowing down. DeMar DeRozan is in la-la land. But it's the coach's job to give the Spurs identity. Hey, we're going to be a defensive squad no matter what. We're going to be a run and gun team no matter what. We're going to be an offensive powerhouse no matter what. You just don't know with the Spurs. And like I said before, I'm not putting all this on Pop because it's really not all on him. But I think it's safe to say he's cost us about 5-6 games this year so far with these rotations. Particularly that Rocket loss the other night. The Clippers beating us to a pulp. That's probably what's going to happen regardless. But it's been 5 or 6 games where I was just sitting there like, man, you taking people out and putting other people in cost us the game. If we can curb some of that, maybe we make the playoffs. It's still time. It's still a chance. All right, guys, that's it for this one. More information on the Spurs, check out the main page, Dctree-Nation.com. Like us on Facebook, and let me know in the comment section below, are you happy with Gregg Popovich? Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.